So in this section 11.4, sometimes when we're using the quadratic formula, we don't get a solution at all. We get no real solution, and that does happen on some quadratic equations. So let's take a look at that. Here's 5x squared minus x plus 3 equal to 0. We do the same thing we've done before. We go ahead and we label our ABC. So we have 5, negative 1, and 3. And then we put it into the formula. So that's going to be a negative of a negative 1 plus or minus the squaring of negative 1 minus 4, right? Minus 4 times the 5 times the 3, and then it's all divided by 2 times 5. So start to simplify it. So this is positive. Negative 1 squared is 1. Negative times all these positives makes it negative. 4 times 5 is 20, and 20 times 3 is 60. And then 2 times 5 is 10. So now we have the square root of 1 minus 60, which is negative 59 divided by 10. And if you did the square root of negative 59 on your calculator, you'll get an error because you cannot have a negative in the square root. So let's do that just to show it what it looks like. So go to a clear screen and type in the square root of negative 59. Hit enter, and we get an error. It says non-real answer, and so we can quit. So it's a non-real answer. So non-real answer. So in the homework, on the quiz, there are going to be two choices. A, go ahead and put in your answer, and then B will be where it says not a real solution. And so you'll have to choose this one because you don't get an answer. Now, why is that the case? Well, let's graph it so you can see what happens, okay? So if I go here and I graph this equation, which is the 5x to the power of 2, and then it's minus x, and then plus 3. Okay, I'll go ahead and hit zoom 6. I think it'll show up. Yep. Notice this parabola, if we're going to find the x-intercepts, there is no x-intercept in this particular curve because the curve never comes down low enough to hit the x-axis. So the reason so your reason for that, the reason you have no solution is because you have no x-intercepts in this equation. And so it's not going to give you one. So that's what happens here. So I would just graph this as y1, and just forget this part, but just graph this part of the equation, and you'll see that the curve doesn't do that. It does something like this. And so here is the x-axis, and an x-intercept has to cross through the x-axis. This one doesn't do that. And so that's why you get a no real solution for this particular problem.